Shane Arndt, welcome to Empower Network TV. Very excited you're here.
Glad to be here, Amos. Thank you.
For those of you won't know this, but Shane and I kind of go in a fashion go way back because I've known your sister since I was like 16, 30 years, 31 years ago. And then I met you a number of years ago, a few times. You guys moved to the States and now you run Creating Conquerors. So we're going to be talking about that today. And I'm interested to hear more about what all that entails, why you do this, Shane, where it comes from, what your mission is, what your vision is. So how are we going to jump in today? Do you want to start with your story? Do you want to start with what you do or why you do? Where you feel led?
Sure. Well, I just want to share, Amos, it's good to see you again, and really appreciate the opportunity to promote Creating Conquerors today. So maybe I'll just start with the vision. The vision is, or mission is preventing substance abuse and suicide among youth and young adults in Umatilla County and beyond. So, I was born and raised in British Columbia, and just through life's events, I ended up in Washington and now in Oregon. And I've been an alcohol and drug counselor and a prevention specialist for about 12, 13 years now. And I would say it's my passion, because of some personal events, and we can get into all of that. But yeah, I'm really glad to be doing this work and have the opportunity to get the word out today.
And you've been working as a counselor for a while. So working mostly with youth, or are you working with all ages?
Sure. I would say both adults and youth, but as I look around, I just see the importance of trying to reach the younger generation. With everything that's been going on the last couple of years, COVID and everything, it's just I see such a need. So one of the things that I'm trying to do, and I've actually done it for a couple of years, is go into schools and provide like SUD and mental health prevention education. And it's been very rewarding, getting to connect with students. Through COVID, there were a few hiccups because everything was by remote access, but now we're back in the schools, and so I really appreciate that opportunity. But through the whole COVID thing, for us, one of the positive byproducts was really tapping into social media and trying to use videos and connect with people and inspire people, support their recovery in that way.
Now I got to ask, have you always been a big guy with a big heart, or did you, as a teen, did you have a big heart too? Because you've always been a big guy.
Sure. Probably when I was a teenager, I was like many of us, just, into myself and do my own thing. But, through life's experiences, you begin to have an opportunity to self-reflect and see, who you want to be, what you want to do, the values that are important to you, the beliefs that are important to you. And for me, treating people with respect and dignity is really important. So I would say I didn't start out that way, but I'm on a journey to walk in that kind of a footstep.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how we start out, it matters how we finish the race. So you're running a race. Now, did you step out of, because I remember before, like, do you have two aspects of what you do? Because weren't you working in a full-time position and you're also doing your own thing now?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I've had the opportunity to work for several, community agencies, and it's been great. It goes all the way back to like 2011 to today, and I started Creating Conquerors back in 2013, and I guess I'll just kind of dive in. But a couple of things happened. One, I had a friend who was hit by a drunk driver and killed, and that kind of helped me with some direction. I decided to become an alcohol and drug counselor because of that situation. Unfortunately, down the road a little ways, I had another friend who completed suicide, and I just want to, get that out there. Mental health and substance use disorder is very real, and we just need to break the stigma. People need to know they're not alone, and that there is support available. And so, from those two events, that led me down a path of, providing not only SUD prevention, but also SUD treatment. um, kind of as I went through my own healing process, I became an assist trainer. Assist from Calgary. It's worldwide now, but applied suicide intervention skills trainer. And so I have had the opportunity to provide that training with my co-facilitator around this area. So I work in a very rural area. Unfortunately, sometimes resources are limited as far as like qualified staff and just the things you need to provide services. So I decided to branch out and make the go of it, hang my hat, if you will, but try to increase capacity in Eastern Oregon with these different interventions.
What do you find the most rewarding, Shane, when you're dealing with, when people are struggling with these issues, there's chemical things firing in the brain, and it isn't enough just to tell people to pull their bootstraps up. There's a whole lot of stuff going on, and it's obviously interplays and it's very layered. So what do you find the most rewarding, and what do you find the most challenging about this kind of work?
Sure. Good question. I'll start with the positive first. I really enjoy it when, a client has a light bulb moment in a counseling session, be that individual counseling or group counseling. And because I really believe in like a strength-based approach, I want to empower people, and internal motivation is so important. So I can come alongside as a counselor, I can support and things like that. But as they figure out, where they're at with their readiness to change and what they want to do, then I want to support them in that. So that is very satisfying. When it comes to prevention work, I've been doing that long enough now. I probably started that in about 2016, and you see several years later when students come up to you and they're like, "Hey, you're that guy who gave that presentation," and they're just like, "Thank you, it helped," or whatever. That's very cool too. Now, the downside of this, because we're dealing, with people and, the disease of addiction and mental health, suicidology, it can be difficult for people. And so, when you see somebody struggle, that's tough. When you see somebody or hear that somebody has completed, that's difficult as well. So again, just trying to provide those trainings and, do my little part here in the world to try to make it a better place.
I don't think it's a little bit. I think it's a real. You said it earlier, when COVID amplified and resources are not readily available in a lot of part of the world. So you're on the front lines of a battle that everyone knows about, but sounds like you're actually on the battlefront where the bullets are flying. So people, what are good things for us to know? Let's say people that are not presently struggling with that. How should we be relating to people? What are key identifiers that someone we love may be struggling with this and we're unaware, or I'm unaware? And what are some key things to know, like how to best engage, how to support, how to be there? Like, talk to me like I'm 5 years old, because honestly, I don't know. I should say I've not battled this except when I was in my early 20s a bit, and it wasn't to that extent. So I'm a newbie at this stuff.
Okay. Well, good question. I can encourage people to, when it comes to substance use disorder, you can look up the indicators of substance use and just kind of check that out online. In the United States, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health System Administration has a ton of resources that you can check out. So does NIDA, and just type in NIDA and National Institute on Drug Abuse, and there's a ton of information, a ton of ways that you can educate yourself in that way. And then when it comes to suicide intervention, there's a lot of different resources that you can check out. I've been trained in QPR, and if you just type that in, you'll kind of get an idea of what that model looks like. The one that I focus on mainly is ASSIST, but applied suicide intervention skills training. if a person really wants to dive in, QPR is, about a 2-hour training. Maybe, you're at work and that's something that's available to you, or assist is actually a 2-day. It's a more intensive training, and you can dig right into, again, looking at the indicators of it, how to respond. We use what's called the PAL model, and it's a really good tool and resource. And so, I got to use that as a crisis worker, and so that was satisfying, also challenging, but satisfying to come along and offer support. But if I was just to give one thing when it comes to suicide intervention, uh, just keep your eyes open and be willing to give the time to listen to somebody.
Ah, it's heavy stuff, man. Yeah, it's heavy stuff.
It
I-
is, but you know what? It's worth it. I really believe that people need encouragement. I appreciate what you're doing. People need empowerment. They need to know that they're not alone, that there is, support around. And so, connect with, faith. I think that's really important. Family, friends, fun. What are you going to do to find your reason for living? That's also just so essential.
What are you gonna do to find your reason for living?
I think I found it. I'm doing what is passionate to me, and so Create and Conquer is, I guess I'll say I'm all in. I want to try to help if I can. I'll say that's another thing I learned. I was all gung ho when I first became an alcohol and drug counselor, and I want to help everybody. But you realize that you can come with a heart to help somebody, but if they want to. And so creating space for people to have the right to make their own choices and empower those choices and support those choices, also really important, in that clinical work. But a fun thing that I like to do is I play a lot of softball. Maybe there are some of you guys out there and gals who play softball as well, but I play men's fast pitch. And so I try to reach that community a lot, because I would say those are my people. So, for example, I was just at a tournament in Missoula, Montana, and I'm going to give a shout out. A friend of mine from there, his name is Levi Miller. He just shared his story. I just put the raw footage up on Create and Conquer's our page on Facebook, and so people can go and just check that out. We'll work on it to make it a video, but I just felt like the content of that video was so important. I just wanted to get it out there. But Levi's a good guy, but he talked openly about how both substance abuse and suicide impacted his family and friends, and it does it hurts. It leaves a scar on our hearts. And so, I'm glad that he feels confident, to talk to me, and I know he has friends and families around to help with that. But again, we just need to bring awareness to this issue. And there's such a stigma attached with behavioral health issues. You can't have this problem, or I don't know if I'll be accepted if I talk about this. And just know that there are people out there, who are caring, compassionate, respectful, who will listen, who will offer support. In the United States, there's a great resource that was recently rolled out called 988. So we're all familiar with 911, great resource, for medical, but now 988 helps with behavioral health issues, suicidal ideation. You can just dial that number and reach out for help and get the support you need. If you can't connect with, a friend, a family member, a spiritual leader, whoever your support is, and just call 988, reach out. There are people who will support you.
I'm thankful that there's people like you with a big heart. Yeah.
Thanks, Amos. I will just
And
say I'm taking some major steps to grow this. So I founded it in 2013. It's a nonprofit, and I just kind of did it on the side, to fill some gaps that I saw where there were needs, be it for prevention or treatment, and just try to fill those gaps. But I left my work, and I'm basically trying to commit to this full time. to bring about additional awareness, provide training, provide treatment, provide prevention. And I'll just be very direct. I would love for people to go check out our Facebook page, join our community. We want more people to get involved. We want that to grow. So for example, we're just small, about 750 in our community. We're trying to get to 1,000 by the end of this year, but I really think that will help us. Some of the videos, we've reached a couple million people. That's awesome, but we want to reach more. And so I'm trying to get the word out. I'm trying to leverage everything I can, for what would I describe it? Influence, and just let's get, positive out into our community, into our world.
Sorry, what's the name of your Facebook group? I'm going to put it right now in the links. What's it called, your Facebook group?
Oh, Creating Conquerors.
Okay, so business name, Creating Conquerors.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I would normally have you do this, but I'm just going to do this right now for you because
Okay.
so how do
I will just.
Oh, I can just here. I'm going to put this right in the chat. Or right in the 1 second. Let's do this. 1 sec. Thanks for your patience, everyone, but this is really important. Power Network TV. We are live creating conference. Okay, I'm dropping this there. It's in the chat. All right, there we go. Yeah. Please join Shane's Facebook group if this is something that you or someone is, this is a place. Obviously, it's a place of supporting a community, right, Shane?
Yeah, most definitely. So
Yeah.
you're going to go on there, and right now, with the summer and with our Dream Team softball camp, you're going to see a lot of stuff that's softball stuff. That might not be you, and I get that, and it doesn't have to be everybody, but that's one of our healthy hobbies that we're promoting to youth during the summer here, just locally. And again, so prevention activity, giving kids something to do that's positive, encouraging, and so you'll see some softball stuff, but there's more to it than that. This is just what we're doing here for June and July.
I love how you said that healthy activities, healthy habits, or because if I'm eating donuts all the time and I can't stop, you don't tell me not to eat them. You got to replace it with something that's like healthy.
Yeah, most definitely. And so that's something that I picked up again from SAMHSA. They talk a lot about how can you put healthy things into your life. And so I believe they call it healthy alternatives. I coined healthy hobbies. Just I like that a little bit better. But we can do things and put things into our life that recharge our battery. For me, it happens to be men's fast pitch softball. And my question is, what is it for you? What really, we go to work and we give out from that, but then, what do you do for fun to recharge and, be ready to go again, the next day or the next week? So important to have balance.
True. And is there anything else you'd like to cover while we're here? Shane, is there anything else that matters to you that you really want to say?
I will give a shout out. We have a great group of volunteers, as far as our board of directors and our PAC or our peer advisory council, and appreciate them stepping up and being willing to share their stories. So I just, this is not all about me, but it's about connecting with people who have a similar heart and a passion for substance use disorder, for prevention, for treatment, for recovery. And so, I'll just give a shout out to Abel Lozano, Amanda, Perla, Sharon, Levi, and Michael. They've all shared their stories, and we got most of them out there, and some of those will be coming as they get completed. But again, what I want to do is identify people who are in recovery and who want to share their story. So if that connects with you and you would like to share your story, please, the information Amos put in the chat, please reach out to me. Or if you know somebody who's in recovery, I'd love to connect with them. But that's one of the projects we're going to be working on next week. Is we have about a half dozen people who have agreed to share their story, and we want to empower them, how did you do this? Why did you do this? And just get it out there so that people who are struggling with addiction see that, you are not alone. It's possible. And, that simple statement, if I can do it, you can do it. So.
Profound. Thank you, Shane, for being here today. Thanks for sharing the message in your heart, creating conquerors. Yeah, you are creating conquerors, and you have become one by doing this, Shane. You're leading the way. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Amos, thank you so much. And audience, thanks for listening. Appreciate you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, Shane. And if you've been listening, watching to Empower Network TV, Shane Arndt from Creating Conquerors, please reach out to him. If this resonates with you, please join his Facebook group and connect with him. I'll be tagging you in this video, Shane, and I'll send you the links after. So good to see you, man. Okay.
Thanks, you too. Take it easy.
Ciao for now.